Hey folks, Valentin the Mad here, and today we are making something pretty special. Let's get right to it. So, you have a special occasion coming up and you want to make something a little fancier than your usual baked chicken, right? So, making something special can mean you now spend 3 hours in the kitchen, and that's also an option. It can be fun, can be sometimes very necessary, but doesn't always have to be the case, and that's what this video is going to be about. So we're going to make a fancy meal that is decently simple to make. So it's gonna be baked salmon, it's gonna be salad, and it's gonna be a tahini dip. All very, very simple stuff and definitely feels special. So let's see the ingredients for the first part of it, the baked salmon. So first up, of course, you have salmon fillet, close to 1 kilo in this case, and do yourself a favor, take a salmon fillet. Don't take it with bones, just for a better eating experience. If you can fillet it yourself, more power to you. Personally, at the moment, I still can't. So you have salmon, you have salt, of course, you have lemon, and you have basil. So it's very basic stuff, and in the case of salmon, I don't think it's necessary to go too fancy. So for example, I saw some people encrust the salmon with nuts, and it can be nice, but not really hugely needed. Personally, I like it very simple, so what I used to do before is just take salmon, salt and lemon, but then I thought, let's try with basil, and wow, the basil was just, the difference was unbelievable, so I can't recommend using basil in this one enough. So let's get right into it. First of all, we'll salt it a little bit. Very carefully, don't want to overdo it. Just spread it out as evenly as you reasonably can. Now, we take the lemon, slice a piece of it, and just squeeze it over the bit of salmon. And how much can depend on your preference. I put this kind of mild, moderate amount. Now as for the rest of it, you can chop it up and put it in, let it get baked. Personally, what I would do is chop it up and devour the remains. Moving on to our basil, so we took about half a pack from what we had here. And what I want in this case is only to use the leaves. Don't really want this stuff. Don't really want it. So I'll separate the leaves and I'll chop them up. Okay, so now we have the leaves ready. And by the way, if you're only making baked salmon for yourself, just throw this entire thing on it and the taste will be just fine. But we want to make it a little bit prettier, so we're going to take those and just chop them up as finely as I have the patience for. So now we have it somewhat chopped up, and now we just spread it all over our salted, lemoned salmon. Some can be around. We have plenty of basil here. And I will say it is a little more than I put previously, and I guess in this video we'll find out if there is such a thing as too much basil. Now we have it ready and we're putting it into the oven. So let's go for that. It's not preheated, so the settings are 250 degrees Celsius, coming from both sides. As for the time, I heard opinions ranging from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. I tend to lean towards the more well-made side, so we'll go for about 15 to 20 minutes, and it's not preheated, so it may take even slightly longer. Okay, so now we have it out. The salmon is decently well made. Now, as you can see, the basil doesn't look exactly photogenic, so I think for the sake of the thumbnail, I will remove it, but it is edible. So basically, if you care about the visuals, remove the basil. The taste is very much in the salmon. If you don't, just eat as it is. And now we'll move on to the salad portion of our video. As for the ingredients, what we have is cherry tomatoes, we have red onion. It doesn't make a difference, I do prefer for something more fancy the red onion. We have 2 cucumbers. We are going to sprinkle it at the end with more lemon, because why not? And of course, lettuce, salt, and cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. And it has to be cold pressed, it has to be the good stuff. And I have seen refined hot pressed olive oil, and that's crime against humanity. That should not even exist. Let's get to chopping. Begin with the onions. Now as for the cucumbers, you can split in half and chop from there. Now cherry tomatoes, just cut them in half. Every single one. And now we have the lettuce, and you can either chop it or you can rip and tear. Squeeze some lemon on top. Add the olive oil. To put a good bit of that. Now we salt it. Also, as always, I always say not too much, better a little less than a little more. And this should be just about enough, I think. Then just mix it. Mix it really well to get the salt everywhere, to get all the ingredients mixed up. Okay, that's good. Now the best part of it is our tahini dip. Moving on to our tahini dip, of course we have the raw tahini, that's the very base of it. Water, also gotta have it. Salt, olive oil, and we squeeze out the rest of this lemon into our tahini. So we don't use this whole thing, of course. We use, just about this much. You gotta get a very nice balance of tahini and water. There is no precise amount. I always do it by eye until I reach the consistency I want. So this, for example, is still too thick. I'll add more water. And this is a very simple tahini dip. I do have more fancy ways of making it, which is probably grounds for another video for cooking madness. Okay, that is nice. Actually a little bit too watery. So with tahini you play with the balance. I need just a little bit more of tahini, just like that. And before I mix, I'll add our salt, lemon, and olive oil. Olive oil, and we mix it in. A little more watery than usual, but it is fine. It's good for a dip. Now for the very last bit of it, we're going to make some cucumber sticks. We're going for the low carb option. Of course you can just have bread. I prefer the low carb version of cucumber sticks to dip into the tahini. And so you have some dipping sticks. Okay. Alright folks, here is our end result. And I did try a little bit of it. It's really came out very nicely. Can't wait to devour this thing. This is Amit, who was the cameraman for today, who helped me eliminate all of this gory stuff. Hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.